Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's Tips from the Top call. We have a very special guest, one of my home office teammates. She is a sponsoring guru, and she's here to help share some tips on leads and sponsoring for your team. So I'm so glad you joined. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Tracey Pred. She may not be a name you've heard before, but she is working behind the scenes with Chris and I to work on our lead processing. So Tracey, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, thanks so much, Sabrina, and thanks everybody else for being on today. I know there's always a lot of questions around leads and recruiting and sponsoring, and what I'll say is that over the 20 years I've been in the industry, I've learned a lot about recruiting and sponsoring. I like to use the word sponsoring more than recruiting because I think sponsoring is just a nicer way, to bring somebody onto your team rather than to recruit. But I have learned a lot, and I would love to just quickly try to share some of the, top 5 tips that I have to share with you about how to build your team and how to sponsor a little more effectively. So the first thing that I'll say is that what I have learned over the years is that having both oars in the water is so critically important to sponsoring. If you have, your sponsoring hat on all the time, but you don't have your selling hat on, or you have your selling hat on, but you don't have your sponsoring hat on, can't tell you how many times I hear somebody say, I went to so-and-so's party and they never once told me that there was an opportunity to become a consultant or a CEO. I hear that all the time. So, you want to be able to have both oars in the water to make sure that you are having a very successful business. And they both go hand in hand because selling and sponsoring do go hand in hand. If you're out there selling and you're talking to people and you're having parties, you're in front of people. And the more people that you're in front of, the more people you're going to bring onto your team. And of course, you're going to have strong, solid sales. If you're not selling and holding events, I promise you, you're not going to sponsor. You're not going to make your overrides every month because, you're not going to hit your numbers. So it's really important that you're doing that. And it's kind of like not paying the minimum on your credit card every single month. If you're only striving for that $1,500 in sales every month, you're going to get the minimum. So, if you're out there pushing and, reaching to try to, have a vibrant business, you're going to bring more people onto your team. I promise that does happen. Of course, it's pretty obvious. I've always heard, listen more than you talk. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I know it sounds like a super obvious statement, but so many times we get so excited about everything that Via One Hope has to offer and everything that we've experienced that we tend to go on and on and on about everything. And the person is just you can see them shutting down in front of your eyes, but you can't stop talking because you just feel like you're just going to say them one thing that's going to make them really interested. And we kind of call that in the industry throwing up all over somebody, which is not a good thing, obviously. So take time to find out a little bit about them. The first thing that I say when I start a recruiting call or a call with a lead is, tell me a little about yourself and what you're looking to find out about us today. Because I certainly don't want to talk about something that they don't even care about. I'm certainly not going to go into sponsoring unless they're talking about they want to sponsor. Is there an opportunity to grow a team? What does that look like? I'm going to talk about that. But unless they ask me, I'm not going to talk about it. So you want to find out what piqued their interest. What was that spark for them? Do they want to network and get out and have fun? Do they want to be all about the philanthropy? Do they just want a side hustle? Do they want a new career? What is it that they're looking for? Don't tell them every detail unless they ask for it, and keep it super simple. It's that KISS prophecy, right? KISS, keep it super simple, or keep it simple, sweetie. Knowledgeable. The first thing that I did when I came on board with Via One Hope is spend time learning more about the company, talking to people. I talked to Sabrina, I talked to Chris, I talked to Katie, I talked to the people in the home office. Find out, you're not going to be able to do that, but, talk to the people in your upline that have been super successful, especially if you're going to Crush or you're going to a meeting. the big thing I will give you as a tip about Crush, and this is sort of an aside, but sit next to people that are successful. Find the successful people, network, get out there and meet people. Don't get there into your little cluster of people that you feel comfortable with. Step outside of that and learn some of the tips from the most successful recruiters and sponsors, if that's what you want to be, or sellers, or whatever it is. Be a fly on the wall, listen, and find out what they're doing. But you do want to take some time to put together your sponsoring spiel, for lack of a better term, and practice that. If you feel confident about that elevator speech that you have, or that sponsoring speech that you have, you're going to feel much better delivering it, and you'll feel super confident. We're going to talk about confidence in just a minute, but people are attracted to people who they sound like they know what they're talking about. They want to be attached to people who are knowledgeable, and can help them to be successful. Watch Sip and Shares. Learn the background of the company. Develop details that'll help you develop your sponsoring spiel. Don't give every single detail. Hit on the highlights. Keep it simple, as I said. It is okay as well not to know the answer to every single question. Let them know that you're not sure about the answer to that question. I'm ask Sabrina. I'm texting her and messaging her all the time. I don't know the answer to this question, and I'll get back to that person. It's okay. Don't make it up. Don't fake it till you make it on some of these important questions. Make sure you know the answer that you're giving them, because you certainly don't want to go down the wrong path. This is the longest part right here, but this is, I think, the most important part, and that is you have to develop a sponsoring mindset. This is so critical. Thoughts are things. Somebody said this once at a training that I attended, and I've never forgotten that. Your thoughts are things. And if you've ever heard of The Secret, that book, you put out, you get back what you put out into the universe. What you think about will come about. And so, over the last 20 years, I've definitely trained many consultants on the concept of you get what you go for. You'll hear me say that all the time. If I'm doing an event somewhere, I'm not worried about selling product. That will come along with it. What I really want is leads for parties and leads for, future CEOs. Of course, I'm not doing those now, but when I did, that's what I went for. And all those other things just really came. So here's something super important. You've got to stop the negative self-talk. If you do that, it's going to sink you. And you hear it all the time, I think, from if you have a team, you'll have people on your team that say, nobody wants to buy anything from me. Nobody wants to host a party. Nobody wants to join my team. Well, duh. I wonder why. You're putting out that negativity into the universe. And one of the things that I think you'll agree with me about is when you see somebody that is so super confident. What is that new movie out with Amy Schumer, I Feel Pretty? Like, she has this accent, and all of a sudden she wakes up and she's so super confident about herself that everybody around her is like, wow, I believe you. You will believe that positivity, and you want to be around people that are super positive. So if you're thinking, I have an amazing product, I'm with an amazing company, I have a great opportunity that will help anyone be successful. There is nobody that buys a kit that's any better or any worse than anybody else. You are all buying the same kit. It's what you do with it that's going to make the difference. I've had dry spells in my career. I've had times where I thought, I still have them. I can't get anybody to enroll, or I can't get anybody to join my team, or I'm out of parties. What do I do? It's about what do you do? It's about taking action and finding a way to push through that. So you'll get so much more in your life in general with positive self-talk than negative self-talk. But this is the most important thing. Believing in what you're doing is ultimately what will drive your business. And that's so, so true. Again, people want to be around other positive people, but they want to know that you believe in the opportunity just as much as you believe in them. So think about these three key things. Number one, mindset. Check in with yourself occasionally on what your mindset is telling you regarding your business. Is it empowering or is it disempowering? Check in on your thoughts regarding your success in direct sales. Have you had success? Have you not had success? Have you taken action? or have you not taken action? And what role do your thoughts play in either one of those things? So success and your actions, our thoughts determine how and why we do what we do. Remember that. That's so important. And beliefs, mindset and thought enforce your beliefs. What do you believe about Via One Hope? What do you believe about direct sales in general? Do you believe it works? Do you believe it only works for certain people, but not you? You know what? It can work for anybody, but it's all about what your belief system is and what your mindset is and the thoughts that you have every single day. And that will help you in anything in life, not just your direct sales business. And finally, this is another thing you'll hear me say a lot. Some will, some won't. Who's next? You can't get hung up on the people that don't want to join your business. And there will be many people who do not want to join your business. And, you know, it can be a frustrating thing at times when you think, oh, I had such a great conversation. Everything went so well. I don't understand why they haven't enrolled. You know what? Not everybody feels the same way about the business as you do. Maybe they're not in the same place you are. Your whole mission is to share information and let people decide if that information is for them. Because trust me, it's not you, it's them. And sometimes I hear this a lot where, consultants or CEOs are like, oh gosh, everything was going so well. I don't know why they haven't enrolled. I really thought they were. What did I do wrong? It's probably nothing that you did wrong. It's everything to do with what they're looking for at that time. It just may not be the right fit. It might not be the right time. Just always leave the door open for them to come back to you, because I promise you, many, many will. You've talked to a lot of people, no one's joining, and now you feel like giving up. What do you do? Well, you know what? I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's not working, try something else. So if you feel like what you're doing is just not working, think about how you can mix it up. Talk to your upline, get on to some calls or trainings or Google even, and think, okay, how can I change things up just a little bit? Take time to look at your spiel, tweak it a little bit. Remember, you're going to need to talk to around the industry average is around 10 people before one person's going to enroll. So, the odds are always against you, but it's always that some will, some won't. Who's next? You just move on to the next person. And they may even send somebody to you rather than joining themselves, because it's a true numbers game, and they may come back to you later. Also, this is a no stalking zone. Do not stalk your people. I should stay in touch and I should give them all this information. And I just know if I tell them this one thing, or, I'm so excited, or you make it about you and not about them, you're going to turn that person off. And I had a hugely long conversation just last week with someone who said this woman from another wine company stalked her so relentlessly. It turned her off so much. She was throwing all kinds of promotions at her. I'll give you this if you enroll. Of course, it was near month end. She wanted to have a new recruit for a promo that she was trying to earn. So she turned it around and made it about her, not about what that person was looking for. So that really turned that person off. And she said, even if I was interested in that company, I wouldn't have enrolled with that person. So nobody likes to be stalked. Nobody likes to be spammed. With that said, you do want to give them room to breathe and let them make their decision, but do check in periodically with news so that they know you're still thinking about them. And that goes right along hand in hand with developing a meaningful relationship with that person. Learn who they are, what it is that they're looking for, and how you can help them. But, don't make it all about joining you and your business. Ask about them, ask about their family, get to know them a little bit, so that, you don't make it sound like the only reason why you're talking to them is what they can do for them. So don't die on any one mountain is going to be the last piece of advice that I would give anybody who's looking to build a team. It's like I said, it's all about numbers, but it is about developing those relationships with people, being genuine, sharing your heart, We all know what a great company that we're a part of, and you absolutely want to portray that to people and let them know in a genuine way. Use your heart and use your information to share something with them that is going to be a great marriage of opportunity. So I want to thank everybody for listening. I know I talk really fast. I'm from New York. I can't help it. I'm not a slow talker, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if
yeah. Tracey, one thing that I thought was a huge point in the beginning that you said was there's so many CEOs out there that leave, or a customer that leaves an event that doesn't know that they can join their team. Mm-hmm. So like my biggest tip, and something, I train on constantly, is treat every event as if it's a networking event. Mm-hmm. And make sure every person knows what you do and how you can help them. Mm-hmm. If you don't do that and you don't tell everyone at that event, like multiple times, what you do and how you can help them, then you're leaving that person without knowledge. And the next event they attend, it might be exactly what they needed in their life at that point, but they're going to join that person's team, or make a connection with someone else. So definitely make sure you're grabbing their information via like an email list, or the order forms that we have, to make sure you're talking to them and know what they're interested in, and make sure they know that you can offer them everything that we have to offer. We have so many things to offer. That's like a really huge tip that I love that Tracey brought up from the beginning.
Well, and I can't tell you, Sabrina, how many times I've talked to people that said, current CEOs are like, my friend joined, or this person that I know joined, and I missed out because I didn't tell them I was doing it. That happens a lot as well. Or they didn't invite me to join. I really didn't know they wanted me to, Mm-hmm. So you just have to put it out there and let people, respond to that. But if you don't tell them, if they don't know, I always say, if you build a store and you stock it all up, and you
have people to find you.
You have your opening day and you don't unlock the door, or you don't let people know that you're opening a business, nobody's going to walk in the door and it's not going to be successful. So It's the same kind of thing. You've got to let people know.
Yeah. I saw Chris unmuted herself. Do you have a little something to share?
I have to piggyback on that because, they say that it takes 5 to 10 exposures before someone says yes. And that's where, if you don't mention it, you could really be missing out. Or if you have somebody who, says, wow, I really been thinking about doing something and I'd like to talk to you about this. They might have already talked to 4 or 5 other people in other companies before, but because they keep getting that exposure, they're ready now. So that's another reason why you want to make sure that you're always out there talking about it and making sure that it's just as important to talk about that as your favorite varietal or cause.
100%.
Good. Oh, Tracey, it was so good. You gave me.
No, I loved your positivity portion too. It's a friendly reminder that like even I was talking to someone and, I was purchasing a car this weekend, and the guy that was my salesperson was super sweet, very nice. And he's like, I always tell my salespeople to answer the phone with a smile, because people can feel that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I used to train customer service reps, and that's what I would tell them every time, because they have to know that you're open to their, to their positivity, and you want to be positive with them. So the positivity thing just hits home with me completely. Because if you're having a bad day, maybe don't talk to that person at the market. But if you can turn your attitude around and talk to them and be super positive and show them everything that we do, then start that conversation.
Did you tell everybody to make sure that they look okay when they leave their house if they want? Back in the day when we were in the business, we would say, if you want to recruit while you're out and about, make sure that you look presentable and not in sweats and mommy hair and stuff.
You know, yeah.
Tracey, I am sure that you have.
Before I got on today.
Tracey Manning, I'm sure that you have recruited people in your workout outfits. 100% sure. Yeah.
He's so darn
to anyone.
Another snippet that I say a lot to people when I'm talking about recruiting is a confused mind always says no. So think about what you're saying and how you're portraying the business, and if you feel like it's too complicated the way you're explaining it, I'm sure it is. And if it's complicated, they're going to be confused and they're going to say no. So keep it, just keep it really simple and just talk about what they, are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're at the grocery store and you see they have 6 bottles of wine in their shopping cart, you can be like, oh, do you like wine? Does anyone have any questions for Tracey? No questions?
Wow.
I like what Tracey wrote in the chat. She said, what you think about will come about. You get what you go for. Put it in the universe.
Yeah. Declare it. That's huge.
That's really a big one. So that was great. I know those were Tracey's words, but I'm
that's a good takeaway, though.
Reiterated it. Yeah. Totally from The Secret.
Tracy.
Squared. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And Tracey Pred, thank you so much for sharing your tips. I think I had a bunch of light bulb moments while I was listening to you speak. Obviously, I mentioned them. But thank you so much for sharing your tips, and everyone who joined and everyone who's watching, the recording. I'm just so excited that you guys get to listen to this. And, I hope it inspires you to go out and start recruiting and growing your business. And let's see here.
Everybody come to Crush?
Yeah.
Because Tracey is going to be training with me on this topic at Crush. So, if you guys are coming to Crush, you get more Tracey. Yep.
Let's see, what else tomorrow we have our CEO to CEO call with Jake Cloberdance at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the same Zoom. So be sure to jump on that. And let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, next Wednesday we have our corporate gifting series, our 3rd week of our corporate gifting series. So definitely be sure to add that to your calendar, and I'll be sending out a little reminder in the community page on Sunday for all of our trainings the next week. So definitely be sure to take advantage of that. And everyone have a great rest of your Thursday and a great weekend full of events, tasting events, and have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Tracey.
Thank you, Tracey.